What is good in the hood, motherfuckers? So today I'm showing you this sound. And guess what? This is like the 5th time I'm doing this because I have been fucking up all day long. Altogether, it sounds like this. Die. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to get through this patch without fucking doing the whole tutorial, exporting it, editing it, and realize I left out a whole half of it. What is wrong with me? All right. So we're going to start with oscillator A. We're going to switch this shit the fuck off. We're going to turn the effects off in here, but I'm going to leave them in there. Oscillator A. It's going to sound like this. How exciting! Anyways, all right, so what you're going to do is you're going to go to analog, basic MDC waveform. That's what you're going to do. You're going to choose the basic MDC and you're going to put it on wavetable position 136. So you have this nice weird looking sort of curved square. You're going to set your voicing, your unison to 4. Your detune is going to be at 14. Your blend is going to be at 50. Phase is going to be at 180. Random is going to be at 44%. You're going to have your FM from B at 41%, which is your warp. You know, you have different options down here, but you're going to put it on motherfucking FM from B because that's how you get your shit sounding dirty. Wow, that sounded fucked up. All right, so anyways, what you're going to do is you're going to have your pan at 0 and your level is going to be all the way at 0 because what you do is you assign LFO1, which is going to be this curvy mountain shape here. You're going to attach it to your level and you're going to bring it all the way around to it being open. So what this is doing is this is triggering the volume and it's also triggering your FM from B. You're going to attach it here too at around 11 and bring it to about 1 so that you have your sound moving. See that shit? Yeah, that shit's moving. That's also because of LFO2. We're going to get there. Hold the fuck on. All right, hold your horses. Oscillator 2 is going to be Scream, which is under digital. Bring it on down to Scream, select the Scream waveform. Your octave is going to be at +1 up here because you want a little bit of a higher register blending into this. So what you do when you do FM from B is you suck the FM from the second oscillator and you start saturating your first oscillator with that. Notice how I have the volume all the way down to the left. You know what was a really stupid idea? Drinking orange juice before doing a fucking tutorial. Ugh. All right, so that's all the way to the left. Your unison is going to be at 4, so your voicing is 4. Detune is going to be at 0.1. And what you're going to do is you're going to assign LFO1 to your detune, start it at around, I guess that's like 11. Bring it on up to 12, because I look at this shit like a clock because I'm programmed that way. And so what that's doing is that's manipulating your detune so that it creates like a sizing effect when you trigger the sound. I know, it sounds super awesome right now, but bear with me. Step by step. Your blend's going to be at 47. Phase is going to be at 184. Random is going to be at 52%. Your wavetable position is going to be 97. Sync window is going to be 1.87. Pan's going to be at 0, and your volume is going to be all the fucking way down. And you're leaving that down because you don't want this waveform interfering with the whole sound itself. When you bring it in, it sounds like this. Exactly. So, next, your filter. HN12, you go down to multi, select HN12 because it's the shit. I know I use the fuck out of it, but it doesn't matter because it gets the job done. And it's how I, like to manipulate my sounds. It works, and working is good. So what I do is I select A, B, and an S. That's your A oscillator, your B oscillator, your noise oscillator. I have it on anyways because sometimes I use it, and your sub oscillator, which I don't have on at all, but I have the filter on all of them. It's fucking stupid, but I just make a point to make sure I'm filtering everything unless otherwise needed. Your cutoff is going to be 25 hertz. Your res is going to be 28 hertz. That's your resonance. Your pan is going to be at 50. Your drive is going to be at 14%. And your frequency is going to be at 78%. Mix is going to be at 100. What I'm doing is I'm bringing oscillator 1 to my cutoff, bringing it from 9 all the way to about 1. And then I'm putting it on the frequency from, it's like between 2 and 3, all the way to about it's like between 10 and 11-ish. And what I want you to do is I want you to download the patch, because I've been getting a lot of complaints about this. Download the patch, A/B what I did and what you do, and, compare and contrast, see what you did differently. And I want you to also reverse engineer what I do, because that makes it a lot easier. LFO2. I don't think I have it on it. No, I don't have it on anything. It's not doing shit, so don't worry about it. LFO3, I have attached to the pan on oscillator A. And what it's doing is it's set to 1/4 and it's on off mode. See that? So what that's doing is that is making it pan back and forth, but it's doing it in such a way where it sounds like the image is wider. I use panning in a tricky fashion for imaging. So when I have things panning a certain way, it's so they fill the stereo field, so it's not flat. Because now it's all about that 3-dimensional sound, which I feel like I'm lagging behind on, but I'm trying to get the hang of it, so bear with me. I also have it set to FM from B, so it's also manipulating the FM here, as well as that. So they're both triggering the FM over there. LFO4, I have on my sync window, so I have it going from about 11 to about 2. So that's what's doing that pitch sound, and also I have it triggering the wavetable position on oscillator A. That's what's causing that movement right there. You see that shit? And what I did was I brought this little mountain thing down. So it's not a full spectrum shape here. I brought it down so it wasn't going too crazy and manipulating my sounds more than I wanted. And I have it on envelope set to 1/2. All right. So that's what it's doing there. I have my envelope 1. God, I pronounce them 2 different ways. Don't listen to me. I have envelope 1 set on attack to 15 milliseconds. Hold is on 0. Decay is on 1. Sustain is on 0. And my release is at 108 because I want a little bit of tail. I want there to be some tail, after my sound, so it sounds a little more full. I don't want it to cut off too abruptly. Because what I'm doing here is I'm not just holding the key down. What I did is I played my MIDI out. And I like actually doing it that way better because I have more control. And I can shape my envelopes to have more of an interesting sound than I do when I'm just holding the key down and relying on my LFO to do the motion for me in a repetitive manner. I'd rather play it out. That's just kind of a little thing I've discovered over time is I like the precision better than having to rely on happy accidents. So, after that, I have my portamento. It's set to 356 milliseconds. I have it on always. All right. Let's go to the effects. Hyperdimension. My rate is 8%. Detune's at 21%, and I set LFO1 onto my detune so that it triggers that. So I bring it from about 11. No, that's like 9. Bring it from about 9 to about 12. Retriggers on. Unison is at 4. The mix here is at 0. I have my size here at 23%, and I have my mix here at 100. Now the compressor. Threshold, minus 20.7. Ratio at 3:1. Attack is 40.2. Release is 51.7. Gain is at 7.4. And now these little individual bands, I have it on multi-band mode because I like the saturation. I like how it squashes it. And I like the overall effect. The way it's squashed keeps it more dead center. Like in my field, it feels like it's flattened to a certain point where I can image a little better. It's not kind of dipping back dynamically because the dynamics are so flattened that it's kind of held in one place. So my high is at 100. Mid is at 144%, and the low is at 126. And this is with the updated version of Serum. You can manipulate the different bands of frequency in your multiband, which is huge. I mean, that allows you to get a little more fatness in the center areas than before. Mix is going to be at 100. So we're going to turn these motherfuckers on. EQ. I got my frequency here at 210, Q here at 60%, gain at 0. My Q here is going to be at 1196. Frequency is going to be at 1196. Q is going to be at 60%, and my gain is at 2.3. So when I play it all together, right, turn low latency mode off. So what I do for spatial design, you hear that shit? You hear that little ping pong ring out? I bus it a little bit to a delay. And what I do is I put ping pong mode on, and I do about 42 milliseconds, so it has that metallic delay sound. What's going to be all the way to the right. This is the age delay by waves. I EQ the low end out a little bit because, it sounds like this with no EQ on. That sounds pretty dope, but in your mix, that low bullshit in your delay is going to be eating into your sub and into your low mids. You don't want anything eating into your sub, low mids, or your kick. That shit you need having full force. So no interference, no phase cancellation. So I EQ the bottom out to about 300, or I'll move it up to about 400. You still get that delay, but it's not eating too much of the low end. And you know what? That's up to you. You can really do whatever you want. That's just what I do, and there's reasons behind it. And, if you have a contradicting opinion or, reason for why you would do it differently, fucking go for it. I'm all about it. There's a million different ways to do this shit. I added a sub. So you got that low end meat. I'm going to give you the sub patch. It's pretty fucking easy. All it is an analog sine wave right here. And I think it's dead. Oh, yeah, that's definitely dead. Jesus Christ. Dude, this studio is such a dangerous place for me. Sorry about that, everybody. Fucking occasionally a monster will crash through my wall and I'll have to deal with it. Sorry about that. Where was I? All right. All right, so it's just an analog sine wave. You go to analog BD sine. One voice. Voicing's one. This shit doesn't really fucking matter. You can mess with the phase a little bit. I like to have the phase right kind of in the arc of that wave just because it sounds kind of nicer in my stereo field. That's my opinion. I set it to mono, and then I have the attack at about 1.2 milliseconds, hold at 0, decay at 1, sustain at minus 2.8, and my release at 0.1 milliseconds. So that's it. That's the sub patch. I'm going to give that to you guys so you have a nice sub. I might do a separate tutorial for that just because, some people struggle with it. I know I did for a very long time. And by the way, on the sub, I have this EQ is the shit, by the way. I highly recommend it, the air EQ. I have the bottom cut off to about 34, and I have the top rolled down to about 96. I like to have a little bit of space between my sub and my mid frequencies because when you limit and compress everything, all your frequencies expand and mush together. So if I have a little bit of air between, you still get some air in your mix at the end and you have that nice dynamic. I like separation. I'm a big fan of it. So without further ado, this is the sound all together. And hopefully this shit was helpful. And, I'll see you guys next time. So you can download the patches underneath, A/B it to what you did, and I'll catch you motherfuckers later. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that was informative. For more information and videos, swing on by my YouTube channel, and if you want to check out some of my music, come on by my SoundCloud. I'll see you all next time.